What's happening, YouTube? Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a brand new PRLostGalaxy 2014 review on Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection plus Street Fighter crossover figures of Ken as the Soaring Falcon Ranger and Cammy as the Stinging Crane Ranger. Now, these two Street Fighter Power Ranger figures were only exclusive to the Lightning Collection. And obviously, where was this on Legacy Wars? Like, for Ken and Cammy, well, Ken wasn't even a playable character on Power Rangers Legacy Wars, but Cammy, now Cammy is playable on Legacy Wars, but it's just, Ken is just, Ken, poor Ken. Oh my god. Now that I have Ryu and Chun-Li as their respective Power Ranger crossover figures, these are the second and these two are the last of those crossover figures. But man, these figures with crossing over Street Fighter and Power Rangers is just so damn good. I would have loved it if the Lightning Collection was to return. I would have loved it if they had other Street Fighter characters, if they were Power Rangers. I mean, hell, can you imagine Bison as an evil Power Ranger? Even though, yes, Shredder from TMNT as an evil Green Ranger from the MMPR TMNT crossover exists. So imagine Bison as some evil Red Ranger or something, or evil White Ranger or something crossing over for Power Rangers. Because, you know, again, these figures were so darn well made. But again, for someone who was never a Street Fighter guy beforehand, but again, what prompted me to get into Street Fighter now later in life was because Legacy Wars, they had Street Fighter crossing over with Power Rangers. Then there was the short film to promote Legacy Wars, and then Hasbro doing Lightning Collection figures of the Street Fighters crossing over with Power Rangers. Because not only that, 2018 was a huge anniversary year for both Street Fighter and Power Rangers, so it made sense, Power Rangers with its 25th and Street Fighter with its 30th. So, or 35th, something like that. But still, I'm really happy that I got all of the Street Fighter figures all at once, even though I've already went over Ryu and Chun-Li earlier. So we're going to take a look at, Cammy and Ken in their respective Ranger forms. And even though, unfortunately, like Ryu and Chun-Li, they do not come with, unmorphed heads of their respective Street Fighter counterparts. Maybe it could be due to a licensing reason, issue between between Capcom, who owns Street Fighter, Hasbro, who owns Power Rangers. So I think that's another reason why. Just I think it came to my point that I think the reason why they couldn't add like the civilian heads of the Street Fighters, if they're going to be as Power Rangers, they probably should have came with civilian heads. But again, I think it could be due to licensing reasons between Hasbro and Capcom. That's probably why we couldn't get civilian heads for any of the Street Fighters, not even Ken and Cammy. So this is the back of the packagings of what they look like with the figure stand, lightning effect piece and everything, as usual, just like with Ryu and Chun-Li. So let's take a look at these two individually, and then let's see how they stack up with their other their other Street Fighters. So with that out of the way, it's morphin' time. Hagogan. Well, since I've complete the set, now we got all of the now that I got all the Street Fighters as Power Rangers. So last time I've already reviewed Ryu and Chun-Li, so we're gonna do Ken and Cammy in the same video like before. And man, I'm surprised that looking at these Street Fighter Power Ranger crossover figures, I mean, I kind of wish we had more, but well, it is what it is, unfortunately. So before we go over their respective figures, we're going to take a look at their interchangeable hands. So here's Ken's hands that you want to change out, because you got those open hands out when you pull them out of the pull them out of the wrapping. And here's some of, I'm trying to reach out, some of Cammy's hands, so to match with her. So you can choose to change those out if you want to. Whoops, sorry, Cammy. And then all right, lightning effect pieces for Cammy is in green, while Ken's is in dark red and like something like crimson red in some sorts. So these lightning effect pieces are really original here. You got the crane, you know, the lightning effect piece that resembles a crane, and I do like the shade of green, especially how the video is picking up on it. And then what is the shield piece? I don't know how you're gonna put the shield on that, but as long as it makes sense to the character, using it to like as a punching effect. And then you also got this effect, lightning effect, to put into her hand, so you can change that hand out, you know, you put that effect in, like use it as for her to like punch somebody with it, with that effect. So you got that lightning effect piece. And then look at Ken's lightning effect pieces. This is supposed to resemble the Soaring Falcon that he's inspired by. So this is like a Falcon, the crane, because basically when you think about it, Falcon and crane. Hey, look, these are supposed to homage Tommy and Kimberly's Ninja Zords from Mighty Morphin Season 3, because Kimberly had the crane, Tommy had the Falcon. Nice callback to that. There's two lightning effect pieces where you have Ken using this effect piece like he wants to punch people. So you have a whole bunch of those effects you can use to, you know, choose from with those effects for both, you know, for Ken's hand. So you have that effect. And then those figure stands, well, I don't know what to do with the figure stands. Like, are you supposed to put them on, you know, put the respective animals on there to represent? I think so, because I didn't do this in my review for Ryu and Chun-Li last time. So this is how it would look for all of them. So let's take a look at the figures. I want to take a look at Cammy's figure first. And since it was easy to snag her online when I got her and Ken, and same go for Chun-Li and Ryu. So this is how her Ranger form looks. And when I look at the helmet of Cammy, Stinging Crane Ranger, I'm being reminded a little bit easily of Rita from the 2017 Power Rangers movie, when she was, you know, the Green Ranger from that universe. It feels like that's what this helmet looks like. Heck, part of this helmet also looks like the, you know, if it's based on the crane, makes me wonder, where was that modification of the helmet for when Kimberly had the Crane Ninja Zord, and same go for the other Mighty Morphin Rangers when they got the ninja powers in Season 3. But I understand budget and all that. So, and I do like the detail put to her braided hair. You got some articulation on the hair right here a little bit. Move her head around and all kinds of stuff. And let's see if the figure isn't as loose, because when I got Ryu and Chun-Li, yeah, the pinless joints are starting to show, because they should have never did plastic-free packaging for the last couple of Lightning Collection figures that span out 2022 and 2023. I don't even understand why the heck they even did that. Let alone by the time we saw the end of the Lightning Collection, because I think doing pinless jointed figures was a good thing, and at the same time also a bad thing. This didn't just apply to Power Rangers, but even Hasbro's other properties like Transformers, Star Wars, Marvel, and the like with their collector figures too. And I just never understood why they would do pinless joints, because now the pinless joint on Cammy and I think on Ken are not as problematic, but I did notice about the problematic of the pinless joints on Ryu and Chun-Li's Ranger figures. So, but I do like the fact that they did a great job channeling the characters' color schemes, where Cammy always had, you know, green and red with some yellow, and then Chun-Li always having blue and white, and Ryu with beige and some other color, maybe red, and then Ken is always red and gold. So that's always great to see that, to reflect on these characters very much well. And also her little the hat on top of the helmet, so to make sure this is Cammy, and then the pigtails on the helmet to be, you know, Chun-Li. Okay, so Cammy's figure is pretty darn good, you know, though the abdomen joint is a little loose, because again they did pinless, you know, jointed figures. So let's take a look at like any possible butterfly. No, because due to the shield, no butterfly joints unfortunately on this. I think not. No, wait, but the butterfly joints on the arms are hard to spread out on Cammy, but what little I can on that. Okay, as for elbow crunch is just how it is for usual. A lot of female figure molds for Hasbro's figures, so you have that. And then the abdomen is just still like wild and loose, so you have that. Then ankle pivots. Ankle pivot is a little stiff on my Cammy, but at first, but I think the more I toy with it, it'll get a little better. Then you also have the knee crunch. Okay, so get the knee crunches going. Okay, she has some good knee crunches and everything else, so she's good. So now Cammy, that's good on her. Now Ken was a very hard to find figure, especially when finding him online, because I didn't get these figures on Hasbro Pulse. So make that be clear, I didn't get this on Hasbro Pulse. This was Amazon when I got this. But when I found Ken's Soaring Falcon Ranger figure, his figure was hard to find. I managed to get him though anyway, but he was just a very difficult Street Fighter that I had to get, because I'm like, come on, why did they do Ken like this? And the helmet for the Soaring Falcon, all they did is just repurpose the Mighty Morphin Red Ranger helmet, or the Green Ranger, either way. No, this is Mighty Morphin Red, but just give it the Falcon feel to it. And I wonder why didn't they do this with Tommy's White Ranger helmet during season 3? But again, also budget, so you couldn't do it with that. What I do like about most of the shields on the Street Fighters, they're supposed to hearken to Tommy's Green Ranger shield, but they had to differentiate that from the Green Ranger, because again, it's supposed to be based on the Green Ranger's design. Because again, as much as some folks are sick and tired of MMPR everything nowadays, that everything has to harken back to Mighty Morphin, but that's just the gist of things. Everything's supposed to be like Mighty Morphin, right? I mean, no matter how much we're all sick of it, even I am, but everything all feels like MMPR all of a sudden for a lot of, imagery, even with the crossover figures. But wait until when I get around the Ninja Turtles, now that all the Street Fighter figures are complete. Yeah, so the only Ranger that doesn't have a colored arm is Ken, unfortunately. I don't know why Ken doesn't have like red arms, like these dark red arms to match the overall outfit. I guess they wanted to go for the more, showing his skin tone on the arms and stuff, make it a sleeveless Ranger suit. But it makes people think this looks like a knockoff, Power Ranger for most normies and casuals. But again, if you have played Street Fighter, you know who these 4 characters are. And these are like the big 4 in Street Fighter: Ryu, Chun-Li, Cammy, and Ken. So making figures of them was going to be dubious and no problem, even on Hasbro's part when they did them in the Lightning Collection. Also, his boots are supposed to hearken and echo the Green Ranger's boots, with the gold trims over it, I guess, but the trims being bigger than that on like Tommy's Green Ranger suit. So parts of Ken's suit is supposed to be both the red, like part Red Ranger, part Green Ranger, and I don't know, but like that's what they were going for. But I do like Ken's figure though, but it's, you can tell the semblances of that. Okay, so you have the abdomen crunch. His abdomen crunch is not that good on this, unfortunately, and I figured there's some wiggle room on the shield, like as if I want to take the shield off. I don't want to do that. Keep the shield on. Like there's nothing really under. Well, maybe some little bit of white patterning on underneath the shield, but there's no way how. Okay, elbow crunch is what you expect. So his elbow crunches are good, so no problems with that. Yeah, so what about his knee crunches? Knee crunches are pretty not that great. Like, his knees are too small. Like, why are they so small when, as opposed to Ryu's knees are, I guess they're supposed to be the same. I don't know. But his knee, especially on this one, is a little weak, and so is on this one. I just don't understand why the heck did they made Ken's knees, and even his waistline is so small too. Like look how small his waistline is. Like they made him look a little too skinny on, you know, legs down. Like, they really did. And yeah, but other than that, I do like the color and everything on this figure, but some of the proportions of the sculpting on you know, on him is a little weird. It's like, is that how he's supposed to look? Even when I would play Street Fighter and play Street Fighter 5, and even at the time of this recording, Street Fighter 6, I don't think that's how the character is supposed to look. So now that we got all the Street Fighters, yeah, well, you're gonna have to sit there, because I'm real disappointed how Hasbro just sculpted certain portions of some of these characters, let alone guest characters from other franchises not related to Power Rangers, but they had some crossing over to do with them. So yeah, so I really think that of all the Street Fighter figures that they did in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, if there's a figure I really actually enjoyed more of these, I would have to say Chun-Li as the Blue Phoenix Ranger, because this is like my favorite of all of them. I mean, these two are good, but this, I'm just like, man, they did Ken dirty. But that's just my humble opinion. But yeah, Chun-Li's figure is like my favorite, like really my favorite of the set, bar none. So I really did like the Street Fighter set of these Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures, but I just wish that if they had did, like, you know, again, if Hasbro had cared more to do more in the Lightning Collection, and also if they were to continue doing Power Rangers toys, we would have saw more Street Fighter crossovers, and bring other characters that would have been great as Power Rangers in the line, and like Zangief or whoever, and Poison, and some other characters from Street Fighter I'm trying to also think about that could have been great as Power Rangers. And yeah, Ryu, his posability, I've noticed after getting him a month ago, I don't really like the way how he's leaning, and then how loose they got him and everything. So that's another dud about the figure. So that's it for my review on the Street Fighter figures as a whole for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. And I really do think that if you're really more of a Street Fighter person, but even though if you're not a huge Power Rangers fan, like I said before, you will probably get a kick of these figures to call back to Power Rangers, even if you are not a huge, like, again, Power Rangers fan like me. So there you have it with this set of figures. Now that this set of figures is complete in the Lightning Collection. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time with a brand new Power Rangers review and other reviews to come.